Hey, in this video, I am going to tell you about Cornelius, North Carolina. It's one of the best suburbs in the Charlotte region here. It's a lakeside community, really offers beautiful neighborhoods, outdoor recreation, top-ranked schools, low crime rates, all just 30 minutes north of Charlotte. So let's get into it here. My name is Chris Phillis, and I help people just like you every day relocate to the Charlotte area or just move within the region here. So if you have any questions or you want to learn about different neighborhoods, don't hesitate to reach out, whether it's now or you're thinking about making a move next year. I'd love to hear from you. All right, so let's get into it here. So Cornelius sits on the southeastern side of Lake Norman. Lake Norman is the largest of the three lakes here in the Charlotte region. So we have Lake Norman, Mountain Island Lake, which is a very tiny lake, and then Lake Wiley. So Lake Norman was built early 60s, basically Duke Energy. They put a dam on the Catawba River. They created electrical power for the region. And as a result, a lot of residential development, happened. And so people started to move along the lakeshore, and just a lot of activity and development started to happen, at that time. And it's just built up over the years. Just to kind of give you the picture, if you're not familiar, Charlotte's the second leading or largest banking city in the US behind New York City. So we have a big financial hub. And we also are home to a lot of professional sports teams, Carolina Panthers, the Hornets. And we also have NASCAR here. So Concord is where the Charlotte Motor Speedway is, and it's home to NASCAR. And I'm saying this because Lake Norman, really, a lot of NASCAR drivers own property along Lake Norman, right on the water there. So to give you some names, you have Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Stewart, Danny Hamlin, just to name a few of them. And then you also have NBA celebrity stars like Michael Jordan, Robert Parrish, and I'm sure several others as well. So they've all owned property on Lake Norman. So it's a luxury lifestyle when you're living on Lake Norman. And Cornelius is really going to be pretty central to that. So the eastern side of Lake Norman has really been built up the most. So you have a lot of just commercial, restaurants, shopping, all of that is going to be the most developed in Lake Norman. So you have all of these amenities, all within just really a short distance from Charlotte. And so that's why a lot of people love, living there. So there's lots of things to do in that region. I mentioned the shopping. You're close to Birkdale Village. You also have just little boutique shops. So Cornelius is pretty small. It is about 32,000 people that live in the town of Cornelius, or suburb basically of Charlotte here. And the cost of living is a little bit higher. It's 8% higher in Cornelius than the national average, whereas Charlotte is 2% lower than the national average. So it's going to be a little bit more expensive to live in a place like Cornelius. So there are a lot of different things to do. If you're just looking to go out, grab a drink, or get a bite to eat, Davidson College, which is just up the road from Cornelius, they have a little downtown area there. You can grab a bite to eat at Kindred, really great place. So for waterfront restaurants in Cornelius, you have Hello Sailor and the North Harbor Club. Great places to go out, have a drink, awesome views of Lake Norman. And we're right on the east side of Lake Norman, so you have great views of the sunset. If you go a little bit further north up into Mooresville, you have Toucans, Lakefront. It's another really cool spot to just kind of hang out by the lake shore and just have a drink or a bite to eat. Obviously just living on a lake, especially as big as Lake Norman, there are a lot of things to do on the lake. You can go boating, water skiing, a lot of water sports activities. Lake Norman is 520 miles of shoreline. So it's a big lake, and there are a lot of little inlets and coves. And so if you do a lot of the water sports, there are several places to do that on the lake. And of course, just hang out. Like, you can just go out and enjoy the water and the sunshine and do that too. There are several different places, like sandbar locations on the lake as well. They do numerous annual events. There's one like Dog Island. It's actually closer to on the western side of Lake Norman. I think it's the last Saturday in July. But a musician started that a few years ago. It's basically like this just big music festival on the lake. And so there are several others as well. I think Cocktail Cove is another place. But yeah, multiple sandbar locations and just a really big lake. Well, it is the biggest, but it's gonna be the busiest lake here. So it's maybe one negative. Some people don't like how busy Lake Norman can get, especially on like a July 4th weekend, for example, when everybody is out. That would be maybe one drawback for people. But you're gonna have the most amenities there, so many things to do, and just, it's a big lake as well. The other outdoor things that you can do in Cornelius, you have multiple different parks. So Jetton Park, Ramsey Creek Park are gonna be right along the water there. Now Ramsey Creek Park is going to be the public beach. It's 46 acres, so it's a good sized park. That beach is the public beach. You will need to go about 30 minutes further north to get to the Lake Norman State Park, which is a much larger beach, but it's just a little bit further away. And so, you have that park. You also have Jetton Park. It has like a 1.5 mile walking trail. So you can't go swimming there. However, it's a great place to get views of the water. You get a great sunset view there as well. And I-77 kind of splits Cornelius. You have an east and a western part. The eastern side is going to be like that historical downtown area. It's not really that built up. It's very quaint, like small town lake life, feel to it. You have a few little coffee spots and things like that, pizza places. On the western side, you have a lot more neighborhoods, and you also have access to some greenways over there. Like, so if you go on the southwestern side of Cornelius, you have the McDowell Creek Greenway. It actually takes you into Brookdale Village, which is a great shopping center. So there's some of those neighborhoods are pretty connected there. So you have things like that. You also have like Lake Norman mini golf. So if you're here visiting, or if you're just looking for something to do with the family, friends, great for kids is Lake Norman mini golf. You can do that. And they also have rock climbing there and laser tag. And so Cornelius is a very family-friendly, high quality of life town, and really cool place to just hang out and obviously live there too. So if you can afford to live in Cornelius, by all means, definitely worth looking into. A lot of it does come down to the commute times. So 77 is what takes you into Charlotte. It says 25 minutes to get into Charlotte if you're not driving during peak drive times. It can easily double depending on how busy traffic is. Now they did add an express lane to I-77. So if you want to pay, it's completely optional, but you can pay an extra toll to take an express lane. And they use a variable toll fee for that. So depending on how busy the traffic is, depends on how much it costs you. I'm pretty sure though it could, get as high as closer to like $28 during peak times if you're going to take it from the from Cornelius all the way into Uptown, and that's just for one way. So it can, be as low as maybe $10 or so. It just really depends on the time and the day of the week, all that stuff. So the commutes typically for everything in the Charlotte region, they're going to be a big factor in terms of where you can live, what's going to be reasonable or what you're kind of willing to do from a commuting standpoint. So that would be the one drawback to Cornelius. But other than that, there's just so many pluses, so many positives that are hard to not consider it if it's doable. So let's talk about how much it costs to live in Cornelius. So you can get into Cornelius for a single family home, about $350,000. It's going to be a little bit smaller, maybe 1,200 square feet. Likely an older property, maybe closer to the downtown area. A lot of those neighborhoods and homes are they're not in developments. It's just, they've been there for 20, 30, 50 years or so. So that may be an option for you. The median for all of Cornelius is $730,000 right now, but they have some really high-end properties. In fact, one neighborhood right now has 2 properties listed for sale for over $16 million. And so those are massive, like 12,000, 15,000 square foot homes on the lake, really sort of mansion style properties. Those are pretty unique, but the range there is pretty big. But the median right now is $730,000. So to give you some neighborhoods to maybe consider, one of them here, you have Antiquity. So Antiquity is going to be right next to downtown Cornelius, like on that eastern side. And those range from about $475,000 to $900,000 for a single family. You can get into townhomes there for $350,000 to $500,000 right now. A couple of other neighborhoods in the $500,000 price range are Madison Village and Mackenzie Place. Those are going to be in the $500,000s. The other one is Westmoreland. That's going to be about $500,000 to $750,000. And then just south of Westmoreland is Robbins Park. And that one can be a little bit more expensive. It's $900,000 to $1.5 million. It actually taps right into that McDowell Creek Greenway, which takes you into Brookdale Village. So talk about like just really kind of almost everything. You're gonna have very good walkability. You have a greenway there, newer homes, in that shopping at Birkdale Village. I did a video on that previously. It's a really great benefit to that as well. Plus, you don't have to drive to Birkdale Village, because one of the downsides to Birkdale Village is the driving in and out of it. A couple of others here. You have Peninsula, is really probably the most well-known neighborhood in Cornelius. It's a pretty large community, it has over 1,000 homes. It's a private country club as well. And that country club's gonna have everything: a 35,000 square foot clubhouse, a pool, dining, fitness center, sports fields, really you name it. And the homes there, the median is about 1.7 million. The average, I think, is 2 million, and they range, quite a bit up. Though that neighborhood is the one that has 2 homes listed for sale right now, over $16 million. So it's going to be a pretty luxurious neighborhood, really packed with amenities, and it's kind of like a staple for Cornelius and Lake Norman. Now, if you're looking for a 55 and older community, they have a relatively newer neighborhood called Bailey's Glen, and those are about $475,000 all the way up to about $1 million. Is in the $700,000 range right now, so that may be something to take a look at. A lot of good things in Cornelius. It's definitely a highly sought after town, suburb area, or place to live in. Really a lot of things to love. There's not really many negatives about Cornelius other than potentially the commute. So if you have any questions on this or would like any additional info, please reach out. Hope you found this information helpful. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.